We hear a lecture of Navajo Indian in a traditional Hogan.
And taking foreign particles out of it, and then when you get done with it, and then you roll it. And then you start the spinning process. When you're young kids, you learn how to do this, and you help grandma and mom do this, and you make a stack of it, and all they do is do the spindle. And the spindle is it's a special made instrument. It's well balanced, all handmade, no easels and compass and things like that. This is Navajo made. This is how perfect they were. No instrument, no lathe or nothing. And she'll start the process of spinning it. As it spins, it twists the yarn. When he twists the yarn, then she stretches the wool. Then she continues, and then with the spin, she puts enough twist into it. Now she's holding it, it goes out to the, then she'll reel it back in, and she'll start all over again. She'll get about 2 to 3 yards out of this little piece, then she'll do another one. There's 4 basic colors you don't have to dye. That's brown, what she's doing here, white, gray, and black. These 4 colors. All the others, here's a dye chart. These are plants and the weeds that we have around the valley somewhere.
For you.
You can retrieve it and use it. When you're young girls, you learn how to do this with grandma and all the other women that does this. While she's doing that, I'll let her just do it and I'll finish the other part of it. When these ladies, young ladies, are ready to do this, they go ahead and have one of these made. There'll be just a small one, a small rub, and there'll be just straight lines. It's just to get their feet wet. All they're trying to do is keep the edge straight. And if you pull on it, if you pull too much, it'll look like an hourglass. It'll come out like this. Now, after you do the first one, you have an idea how to do it. Next one, you'll throw a little kink into it. Every time you do one, you'll add something to it. Until one day you learn to do one big whole piece, and you'll have a lot of designs in it. So then you start to learn the patterns of some of the family's doing, which is the grandmother and mother, and then later on she learns how to do all the rest of it. Then when she gets married, she starts to learn some of the others that her in-laws are making. Next thing she's doing is the corn grinding process. This is a basic way of doing the corn grinding, the old-fashioned way. And we also use this for traditional ceremonies. And most of these corn, yellow, white, red, and blue corn are used for different purposes. in the ceremony. And so these are very crucial. The pato and mano, these two stones, they take care of them. They roll them in cloth and then put them aside when they're not in use. Any questions?
How do you call the stone that you do the grinding?
Pato and mano.
Metate? Okay.
Okay. Next thing she has in her hand is what they call buffalo grass. This is also used in ceremonial purposes. Usually when the ceremony is on, you use the yucca plant. Cut a little small piece on down, that big, take the bark off of it, and then you take, usually this is not hard, I guess, when it's wet, this is the root of a yucca plant. You take this thing off, then you take the barks off of it, then you measure down with either the butt of a hammer or an axe. You mesh this down real good. Then you take warm water in the basket like this. You work the leather, and that's how you get your shampoo. And you wash it, rinse it, and then and while the medicine man singing the blessing way ceremony starts. This is how they do that. See, that's it. Usually we have somebody volunteer, but I don't see.
Do what?
Do what?
Oh, you guys have short hair.
Some of us, we don't have any.
Navajos have a saying about long hair. It represents longevity and long life. And good intelligence. Then when they do the bun, women put theirs high up here, and then the men put theirs down below. Why do you think the men's are lower?
Yeah. Okay.
Somebody's really smart over here. Any questions?
Where are the sheep ranches that you get the wool from? They located around here?
Yeah. Where sheep ranches?
Yeah. We drove all the way up there. I didn't see any sheep.
Oh, you were
Who's counting? Back in the 1930s, Navajo Nation was the largest wool producer in the world. So, don't tell me there's no shit. We stole them. No, we don't hide them. It's when you sneak your way through the reservation. Next thing we're going to talk about is the Hogan. This is juniper trees. And you cut about 300, 400 logs. Start around about 12 inches diameter, all the way down to about 3-4 inches. You cut them as long as you can cut them. You bring them in, and you start chipping the barks off of it. Then you lay them on the sun. You let it treat, and then you bring all the barks together. So for later use. Then you take 9 legs, 9 of these posts to be legs. That is like the foundation of the whole Hogan. You go 4 deep, 4 up. That's how deep they are. Then you draw a circle around it. You start sticking in each of the legs all the way around it. After you're done with that, you put up the first log all the way across. One thing to remember is when you put them across, they're going to be flat on the bottom, so it doesn't roll. And make sure that it doesn't hit anything else that causes it to roll anywhere. And then when it comes together, you come and cut at an angle so that they fit together. You do the first one. Each time you do one, you not take them off 2, 3, 4 times as you go along all the way in. And you start the side all the way again. Then make sure it fits tight. Then you go to the next row. You do the same thing all the way around. You keep doing that until you get up to about here. Then you start using the longer locks to run across it. And that will cause it to shape like a dome.
No nail.
No nails.
When you get up to the top, you finish it off with the smaller logs up the top. And you leave that chimney open just the way it is. And then when you're done with that, the next thing you do is you bring the barks over. Then you put them up on top. Then you ever seen a juniper tree bark? Yeah, they're very long and stringy. And the bottom part is kind of hard, but you can soften it up by rubbing it. Like it almost looks like those pink insulations. And they're very good for insulation. You start filling all the holes all the way around it, on the top, around, all the way around the sides. When you get done with that, then you put the dirt on top of it. You put it around the center first, then you finish it up with the top. The reason why you put the sand around the center of it, so that it secures the weight of the sand, secures the logs. And then you put the rest of the sand on top of it. So essentially you'll have about 2 inches on top. It'll taper out to 3, 4, 6, 8, 12, 14, to the bottom. And at the end it'll look like the shape of Darth Vader's helmet.
Yeah.
That gives you natural air conditioning.
That one?
Very interesting.
Yeah.
It always faces east. Before they started framing in the doors, they just put a blanket over the front of it, and then a chihuahua in front of it. It made the most noise. That was the security. And then before they started putting the stove in, it was just an open fire in the middle. Then the miners, they left their barrels behind, cut them in half, put a hole in the middle of it, put a little interest from the front side, made a stove out of it. And then during the summer, put it out there where that shack is. Remember somebody asked me about it earlier? And that is a summer shack. Use it during the summer. You put the kids out there and let them sleep in the weather. And y'all do your cooking out there, morning, afternoon, evening. And the elders usually sleeps in the Hogan. You wet it down about this time of the day. During the summer, not right now. During the summer, about this time of the day, you wet it down, it'll cool down, and then you'll have a real nice cool evening sleeping. So it's warm in the winter, cool in the summer. It doesn't take very much to heat this place up. Even the body heat with you people standing here, it's warming up. Any questions?
No, just
Why? The mattresses, we use sheep skins. So, you guys, you need to buy a big sheep. And that's what the cover is. You all do your prayers probably before you eat or before you go to bed. Our way of doing it is in the morning when we get up, the head of the household sleeps down the middle, gets up, walks out the door, blesses the day to the east, opens the door, lights up the room, wakes up everybody. He comes in from this side, sits back down, cooking starts. Well, first of all, before he sits down, he'll get the fire going and then he'll start cooking. Now, in the evening, same process. He gets up, walks out this way, back this way, out, around, back. Says his prayer this way. Then when he's done with it, he comes back around, comes in back on this side, goes around this side, and sits back down on this side. Never, if you're doing the plot, if these prayers are positive, you never go to the north, you always travel on the south side of Now, they believe that all bad things goes to the north. The evil prayers, evil thoughts, they go to the north. That's why they believe you never try. When you're praying in a positive way, never go to the north. Any questions? Then one last thing before we head out the door. There's usually an arrow stuck in the top of that. Somebody removed it. That's for self-security reason, mentally. Keep people out and sleep here. But men of the yesteryears, elders, they never bring a weapon into the house. Never. Whether it's gun, arrows, anything like that. This is a woman's home, a woman's place, where children are being raised. No weapon ever comes onto this program.
Where do they keep them?
He always jumps the gun. No, that's a good question. Yeah, they usually have a place out there on a juniper tree. Yeah, hang it up there. Usually hidden away. And when it's time to go hunting, that's where they leave here and go there and pick their stuff and move out that way. They make their kill, leave their stuff there, bring the food in. Okay?
Thank you very much.
How many people could live in this?
50.
Your family, right?
12, 14.
Very interesting. You did a wonderful job. Thank you. People still will.
No problem.
Roughly about that same time, the U.S. government were coming in to check out all of the livestock because Navajos were doing the overgrazing of the livestock, like the horses, cattle, sheep, and goats. And when the U.S. government came, once they knew that some of the family didn't overgraze, they just keep slaughtering the livestock, put them on pile, give out the right number, set out, issued out the grazing permit. So before the U.S. government came here, Harry Goulden came out here, then purchased the sheep from the Navajos. He bought the hardware, trade out with the Navajos, and he did very good with the Navajos. In fact, he earned his name, his Navajo name, as he went back towards Cortez, Colorado. He would have a long line of livestock. And they call them, the Navajos call them the Banaz, the long sheep, is what they called him. And he really enjoyed his name, his Navajo name. movies, and he just left it out there in Hollywood for Mr. John Ford to see, and later on John Ford took a look at the photos, and immediately he gathered most of his cameras and gathered a couple of crews, took them out here to produce a number of Western movies. There's an actual site where he laid out most of his cameras to produce a number of Western movies while Mr. John Wayne rode his horse out to the point, kind of like an overlook of the camp of the Indians or the cavalry. In 1A High School here to your right side, established in 1983, approximately 750 students there, 6th to 12th grade, and the future elementary school going under construction onto your far right side. At the present time, 22 miles north of here, Mexican Hat is where the elementary school is, and beyond the construction site is IHS, Indian Health Service, with a fire station, and right across the intersection to your right side, that would be the Welcome Center. Right side, way yonder, you'll see black volcanic rock that is called El Capitan Peak. Monument Valley and beyond. They say that millions of years ago, this part of the land was covered by Pacific Ocean. As the water swept away, the hardest parts are still standing. The massive erosion of wind and rain formed Monument Valley, and the land also experienced a massive earthquake. That's where you'll see the transform, uplift, downshift, and also the land also experienced a massive volcanic eruption on the southwest partial of the United States. And to your right, or I just point out the El Capitan Peak, one of the volcanic rocks here, and you can see one today. And when you come up close to these views and the spires, it looks like you actually just slashed a blade right through them. That's where the hot air has shot up. And partial throughout the Mystery Valley, Monument Valley, water holes that are approximately from 3 feet in diameter to 30 feet in diameter, and starting from 4 feet out to like 50 feet deep. Some form an arch. And I will name all the views in the spire, starting from your far left going to your right, starting with the spire, the ET finger, Eagle Rock, Eagle Mesa, Setting Hen, Sleeping Bear, Saddle Mesa, Brigham's Road, Stagecoach, Bear with the